Welcome back to our coverage of the Ontario Boccia Championships. We have a wonderful matchup between up-and-coming athlete Kyle Scott versus Lance Cryderman, who I told the people in the arena, Lance is the only Ontario athlete going to the Paralympic Games in just a few short weeks, so this will be a great warm-up and tune-up for him at this event. He is somebody that I've competed with, competed against, all of those things, so this will be a very good matchup. I'll be back with you in just a second, as I'm going to jump back on the PA system in a couple of seconds, and I'll be back with the streaming audience in just 1 second. Uh-oh. I forgot I was live there. I was just watching the game with my own eyes. The jack has been not put in play by Kyle, and I just had a total in the moment reaction by saying uh-oh to the audience. Kyle has lost his jack, and therefore the next two jacks will come from Lance in the blue position. You will notice that the time does not regenerate from Kyle. Just by missing this jack, he will remain with the time that he has on the board. I'm wearing too many hats. You see, that's what's happening here. I'm commentating, public address announcing, and just all confused in my brain. This is the longest we have seen the jack here today in all of the games that we have broadcasted to you. It's about 8 meters in length, maybe even a bit longer than that, that Lance is putting the jack out. So we'll see how this pays off for him. It's hit and miss in the BC1 category, particularly how well they do long. Just because of the level of their disability that they have. That's a pretty decent ball. Yes, there's some space there. It's in front of himself, but when you're at 8 meters in length, that's a pretty good ball to start with. You will notice that the sports assistants are facing forwards in this battle. That's because they are not actually operating any of the equipment that they are using other than handing them the balls. The reason they're handing these athletes the balls is because they have challenges with their grip, and so that's why you see the sports assistants helping these athletes out. You will see that There's quite a bit of spasticity coming from Kyle, but he was able to put a ball in play, which is scoring, so it's a well-placed ball. Still a bit of room for Lance to get in there. If you were joining us in the last game, you'll notice what Steve did there was Steve didn't immediately signal the athletes and then immediately signal the clock. He gave the athletes time to get out of the way and subsequently get into their positions. That is a veteran official who is aware of the situation and what should be done. I think in our last game, the last referee, in fairness to her, is just new to the sport, and those things will come over time. But Steve is very, very experienced. Lance fell a little bit short there, but certainly in the path of Kyle, as it's on the left-hand side of the jack. I think too that you're going to see over the course of the next 2 days that Lance is going to be trying some different tactics, because he is preparing for the Paralympic Games, and he's going to have to try different tactics to take on the world for sure. We see that this time Lance is trying to make his red carpet debut by putting his ball on the red carpet beyond the court. It is out of the court, and he will have to play another ball. This is one of those instances that's probably a good call. This is one of those instances where if Steve had made a decision on his own without measuring, I probably would have said to him, "Could you give that a measure?" Because he did stand over it for a while, and I think he recognized, I don't really know, so I'm going to measure the balls. And in fact, it's blue to play. Lance is having some challenges landing the ball where he needs to on the deep part of the court. There was a signal for blue to play, and the red athlete Kyle Scott decided to take a little bit of a venture. So no harm, no foul. And I think now Lance is possibly scoring. Steve does not know exactly who is scoring, so he asked the athlete if he wanted a measurement, and Steve is doing that. In that instance, you don't have to measure. It's up to the athlete because it is their turn. So. Scores 1 for blue, which is Lance.
Visit Kingston. Maybe there's not enough of them. But specifically, the Loblaws ask for photos. So, like, if you can get your head around what we can send them. Yeah.
So definitely some blocks in front of
I would like him then to stay.
Kyle. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
Yes. He really wants to hang out.
Wow, that was a beautiful shot. A little bit of pinball that took place. It deflected off of one of his blue balls and moved right into the jack. So he's now on the jack and will be scoring one point right now. Lance has no balls to throw, so everything that Kyle does will just be add on to this 1 point. I think for that particular shot he missed wide left, and I think he just got a little excited over the previous shot and didn't calm down his body necessarily to execute a perfect shot. Sometimes that can happen in cerebral palsy. Looks like it's going to be 1 for red. Yeah, and Steve concurs to that as well. Kyle wants to go check on the balls as they're close, as he wants a closer angle to them. I think this is a real win for Kyle because he lost his jack and managed to score on Lance's extra jack, if you will. So. It's nice to see the athletes at a provincial level to be kind of having a good laugh with each other. And sometimes I think in sports it can get serious and competitive. And don't get me wrong, this event is competitive, but you see Kyle and Lance having a conversation, and it's nice to see. The jack will remain with Lance because the second end would normally be his jack, and so he gains an extra one because of the fouled jack earlier in the first end. What I appreciate about what Steve is doing as a referee is he's waiting until the time is totally elapsed before he comes back to the athletes. I think sometimes I've seen over today referees present themselves before the time is expired. And yeah, they don't start the end until the time is expired, but just their presence alone makes the athletes feel a little bit rushed sometimes. So Steve is fully aware and has the pulse on what to do as a referee. Interestingly, we see Lance go over more to the corner of the court on the right hand side, short, so just over the 1.5 meter mark, away from the front of the box, and it's legal, so we'll see what he does with his first ball. It's missed the first ball, but it is nestled behind the jack, so there isn't a lot of movement that you can do, at least moving it back without running the risk of continuing to score that blue ball. Kyle gets closer, but the jack is still open to Lance. I suspect that he being Lance will take control of this rather efficiently. We'll see how this goes. Lance is a little bit off his game here, not necessarily capitalizing on opportunities that you would expect him to capitalize, but also remember he's been putting a lot of time and effort into the Paralympic Games, and so just lots of things going on in the headspace at the moment. That's a good ball, and it is scoring. It's off to the side. The jack ball is still exposed, and as you notice there, Steve is just waiting that extra couple of beats for the athletes to move out of each other's way respectively and not charge anyone's time for that. I was very close to nailing the jack. It just bounced off the ball and off to the right. There is still an opening on the jack. There's a bigger target now. There's a red ball, a blue ball, and a red ball between the jacks. So lots of opportunity for Kyle to get in there. He misses to the right, and the ball is out. A lot of the time, you can really look at a target and think, "Oh, it's so big, I can, take advantage of certain areas." But sometimes that's what causes the stress, that you see such a big area that you can't miss, and that's kind of what I see going on here. Lots of power behind Kyle's shot there, and it took away from some of the accuracy. I think he put more power into it than he needed to, and there went the accuracy a little bit. One minute to play for Kyle. I think that's 3 balls out on court, so he's really only got 50% of his balls on the court. Lawrence is scoring 1, and just wanted to get a closer look at the situation. He should be able to capitalize on another point, at least. Lance and Danielle is husband and wife duo. Danielle does some of the provincial events, and Lance has a performance partner or sports assistant that travels with him around the world. They have stepchildren between the two of them, so lots of responsibility for Lance and Danielle, so it's a challenge. But it's enjoyable when your partner can be involved in the things that you do. So. There's the shot we've been waiting for from Lance. He put it right onto the jack, and thus it is scoring. Took him a while to get warmed up in this end, but he's finally secured the position on the jack. That's also a nice ball. I'm just not sure that that's counting. It's off to the right of the jack. It might be counting, but we'll see from Steve. 3 for blue. That means after 2 ends of play, the score is 3-1 for blue or Lance, and we just have to wait for it to be officially confirmed. It's not too often that the referee gets proven wrong, but we'll see, because Kyle has asked for a measurement. Steve was back at the scores table. I'm not sure what he was after there, but he's back now. Must have forgot his calibers.
Get all this worked out before nationals, eh? All this bullshit? Get this all figured out.
And it's been confirmed it is 3. That means that the score, as I said, is confirmed to be 3-1. Now the jack will go back over to Kyle in this third end, and we'll see where we go. But it's 3-1. Headed into the second half of this game. This is where, when you've lost a jack, you can be a little bit timid going back for this third end, because you just don't want to lose it again. So we'll see where Kyle chooses to play this jack. Kyle has successfully put his ball in play. The first time he put his ball there, he was far over to the left side, and as I mentioned, I think now that he's more towards the middle, of the left-hand side. I think that was a strategy just because he didn't want to lose it again a second time. So we'll see how his first ball. He has missed his first ball. It's not really a block for Lance. It's open enough for Lance that he should be able to take control of this within 2 balls, I would say. Again, just a reminder, I am looking at the same angle you are, so right now that Lance is in the position he is in, I do not see the jack, but if I look over to my right, it's exposed to me that way. Lance took control of the jack, but it is still exposed. So we'll see if Kyle can get on the jack there. Nobody really wants to take advantage of the jack here. So. Is closer. The jack is still exposed to Lance, so see if on his next attempt he can take control.
I can't stay on the same program after doing this. I can't. No, I can't.
It's only 2 games.
2 days.
Yeah. You'll have a junior game, and then you'll have, I think, the BC2 game. I'm actually going to just check in with the volunteers.
Lance has taken control of the jack and is lying 1. There's quite a significant cluster around the jack, so this is positive. Lance is still in control of the jack. Gives it a nice effort there, pushing the pile forward, but it does not appear he is scoring. 1 minute has been called. Certainly a nice try by Kyle. I think he has he's narrowed how many points Lance is going to get, but we'll see what Lance decides to do with this. 2 blue is the call, and the wave off of "I'm done" has also been made, so I believe that makes the score 5-0. As you can see, Danielle has dropped the balls in outside of the box so that Lance cannot throw them. And we will head into the final end of this game as it's 5-0. I suspect that Lance will play the ball short on the right side of the court. But yeah. The attendant thought it was the end of the game, but it's not. It's one more in. Have 5-1 for red as we head into the final end of this game. Lance has given back Kyle the ball, so they each had 1 foul jack, so it will go back to red for the final end. Not too often you see that athletes trade jacks that have gone out. Kyle has successfully put the jack in play. Just for note purposes, if Kyle had happened to fail the jack, it would just go back to Lance until somebody put it in the court. We have to play 4 ends in all this, so.
I know.
Kyle has a beautiful shot. Covering the jack, we would call that a perfect ball. Don't think there's too much Lance will be apt to do because he's winning the game 5-1. So he will just play
It's supposed to sit
solid defense, and
well, like
that'll probably be a wrap.
that big. So I'm just like, yeah. So we'd always come here like in the theaters or whatever, like this was the place. Okay. When I was young, it was close, and it's pretty.
The play, which is not much of a surprise because the red ball is on the jack. It's all about the defense for Lance at this moment. He doesn't want to give up a big end. It doesn't appear that he will either.
It's actually like a pretty cute town. It's not bad. I mean, they definitely my brother actually, yeah, my brother is the like event coordinator for Ontario. And like they're constantly doing stuff. Like right now, like Ontario's doing yeah. But yeah, like I think that's what has also benefited this event in Montana. I was able to come and do like multiple side tournaments, and I was able to so that
That's been called. 30 seconds. He threw that one away, but it looks pretty tight up where it is. Kyle will have a tough time scoring 5. It's very well defended. Lots of balls in front. That's the definition of a Paralympian. Lance struggled out the gates, I think, a little bit, but he managed to keep himself together, and he's got himself in this game here now, and is gonna likely win 5-2, which is a great score. I actually think that ball that went past isn't a bad ball, because let's say Kyle happened to be able to move things back a little bit, then you have that back protection as well. So even though it went past, it kind of worked out a little bit. We're not used to doing live stream games here in Ontario. So Lance had his hand on his head, which precluded my vision of the play, but it's been moved now. You'll notice there's a lot of spasticity coming from Kyle. I don't necessarily think it's nerves as much as it is just disability and the things that happen with a BC1. And yeah. Looks like it's gonna be. He's got another ball, but doesn't look like he's gonna be able to break through on this. Pretty good defense from Lance. Maybe it is a little bit of nerves coming from Kyle. That's a lovely attempt. I'm not sure if it's scoring, but it's certainly in there. 30 seconds. You should be able to get this last ball out within that amount of time, and he does. It doesn't really change the outcome. It's 1. Oh, 2 red. Fantastic. That's really great. So his second to last shot that I said was a good one ended up being a scoring ball. So the score is 5-3. Valiant effort from Kyle, coming back and making those 2 nice shots to score 2 points. And it's a 5-3 victory for Lance. And if you want to catch Lance at the Paralympic Games, it'll begin on the 28th of August and run through the 7th of September. CBC Gem has a ton of coverage and CBC Sports and all that stuff. So catch Lance in the Paralympic Games. As you see, he's very skilled and understands the game very well. I don't know if we have another game on our court. There's nothing listed. We haven't got a game listed for our next time slot at the moment, but we do have one listed for 5:30. Having said that, I'm not sure. They've been moving things around all day, so we'll see when the athletes come out in a little while. But if we're not with you in the next hour, we'll be with you around 5:30 to close out the day, and that match will be. I'm just getting my assistant to tell me what the match will be at 5:30. It'll be Dominic Gomez and Zachary Batu at 5:30. Very good match that will happen, but also don't hold me to that because they've been making changes all day long. So stick with us at 5:30, and if I'm going to have a game, I will come on to you in a couple of minutes and let you know. But stick with us, and we'll see you at 5:30.